Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Harondor campaign. We are at I'd say the closing phases of our struggle for Umbar. We only have a couple of fortresses left, just a couple of outlying fortresses and harbors just at the mouth of the inlet to the city of the Corsairs. And those are still in Harad's hands, and Harad does still have a settlement of Athen-dad, where as we can see it's still training up units and sending them rather ineffectually, in 1 or 2 men at a time out into the west, into our newly acquired territories. It is, however, leaving, as the AI is wont to do, a single man standing outside as it trains up these new units. So what I've done is grouped all together all of my various cavalry forces, the force that had taken Umbar in the last episode, and the kind of refreshing reinforcement force of all these full-strength mounted skirmishers. And so they've met up here just north of Umbar City, and we're going to ignore these forts for a little while. I think if I can seize Athen-dad and get over there pretty quickly with my Cav army, that would be a good use of my time and prevent me from having to worry about all of this. We would still have the forts, we'd still have the occasional incursion, and as you can see, our troops in these various settlements are quite small. It's just remnants of our armies, although Habad does have a few men, but we're going to be getting... In fact, we should get on that, get some of these guys back on the other side of the river so we can retrain them, these archers. Yeah, let's just take all of them. Okay, so how many men in an archer unit? It's 60. So we can do some merging here, so we don't need to waste units. Yeah, we'll do that, and now we can just retrain these 3. Bring them right across. We'll grab the horsemen to the Harondor too, and I think that'll be fine. Send you right across. Let's go right up here for the shortest distance so our boat can get back into harbor. Right there. Now we will also have to start worrying about Harad's naval invasions. As we've seen, they can land men along the coast, and they still have Harondor. That's probably all they have in the north. I really don't expect that they've taken any of Gondor itself on the mainland. Sometimes they'll land some men around Dol Amroth, particularly if you're playing the Reunited Kingdom, and so there can be a lot of action around this part of Gondor. But I don't think they've had the time or the opportunity really to do that in this campaign. So they'll send some men across from Harondor, maybe here, so we need to be aware of that. We've got a decent enough force in our capital and in Harmen itself, so I think we can handle what they're going to throw at us. So let's end the season here. We are going to be losing a bit of cash because we're building in all these newly conquered territories to get going on the fiefdom dominions, and also in Harondor. My goal here is to make that into a suitable recruitment center. We're working on the 2nd tier right now, mustering fields. Right now, we just finished the first level, the control posts, and that just gives us these footmen levies, which are a fine, cheap garrison, but I'm not going to bother to train any just yet. Once we get this done, it'll be kind of more of the same. We'll get our own footmen, though, which is a nice upgrade. A little more expensive, and we're going to get our own native skirmishers. So, what's the difference? Our guys don't have shields, but they're cheaper, and there's 90 men, which is the same. So these guys are a little more expensive, and they got a big shield. They get a bonus in the deserts. Our guys don't. So, there are some differences here. We may want to train a few of these to serve as garrison for the walls. But still, we're seeing a lot of quiet over in the east. So we're just going to keep this up. But yeah, as you can see here, we're getting some more men. Harad does still own Adabara and Athen-dad, so this is going to be the center of their resistance. Once these 2 are gone, though, that's it. Just Karasagar and Parchereb. So we'll only have to watch this flank, and that'll be really, really nice. Of course, once we grab this, we do have to be somewhat aware of Far Harad. As long as they keep their protectorate status under the thumb of Khand, I'm not too concerned about them making a break for it, but you never know. Okay, we're slated to make 3,000. And what was that? Umbar. So we have to go for this Outland Dominion. Now notice that the income here is not that great. We're making like over 1,000 in some of these other places off of the Dominion building. And in Umbar, it's 625. And there's a lot of that is mismanagement. We can cut some of that mismanagement down by moving our capital. So I think I will experiment with that in a little bit. But yeah, like a place like Habad is going to make us... Okay, I guess that's not much more. 742. But in my experience, Habad, Karasnan can be much more lucrative. They're not making us a ton of cash right now because of Harad, the fact that they're not training with inland provinces, or at least they're not training with this one, and they're not trading with Harlorn. So they're not doing as much as they could be, I suppose. But yeah, let's see. We're losing quite a bit of cash there, and we are under siege in Karasnan by this single unit of desert skirmishers. Inside, we've got 2 half-strength units of mercenary swerting skirmishers, and if we were assaulted, I think these guys could take this unit pretty easily. I kind of don't even want to bother with it, but we have lost our opportunity here in Athen-dad, so maybe we'll just slap this away so we won't have to worry so much about the money. And what are you, a Swords of Harad? Yeah, let's move a little closer to Athen-dad. Just get within range, so if we see an opportunity to hit it, we can. Here's our Haradrian assassin, or one of them, who's been causing us trouble. And he's got 6 subterfuge skill, so it's going to be very tough for us to deal with him effectively. Let's get these guys back down, and we will do some retraining. And actually, can we afford it? I think we should. I think we should do it regardless. And maybe let's go with another Plainsman unit. Pretty cheap, really effective. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be hurting, but we've got a lot of good stuff in the queue. So Akis-Anabon, we're 6 seasons away from having roads, which is going to make just much easier for us to communicate and trade and move troops around here. Habad is working on the Outland Dominion, 6 seasons there, 5 seasons for this one, and 4 seasons only for the Outland Dominion in Umbar itself. And that's really the big one. Once we get that online, 2,500, minus, okay, minus a lot in terms of mismanagement. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and look at our capital and what we can do with it. So of course in Rome Total War and Barbarian Invasion you can change your capital, and really the thing you want is to have it in a centralized location. That's it. That's going to be the place where it is going to do the best for you in terms of cutting down that mismanagement and also making sure public order is evenly distributed. Now, I say that's it, but in some circumstances it can make sense to move your capital away from the center. If you've got a newly conquered, very unruly province, you want to have your capital closer to that. If your homelands can take the hit in terms of public order, then it may be worthwhile to lose on the income in order not to lose a new province. But here we're making minus 5347. So if we move the capital down here, let's try Habad. Minus 5,002, so that saved us 300. Let's go down a little bit further. Okay, that's worse. Minus 6258. Habad is possibly the best we're going to do. What about here? Akis-Anabon. Minus 4401, so that's even better. Okay, I think that'll be our best position, and that is nice and even, actually, between Umbar and Umbar City. And, we really don't want a ton of mismanagement here, of course. We're going to get some. And then we've also got to the east. So I think that's a pretty decent compromise between everything we have to watch. Up in the north, we found that the Bjornings do still command parts of the Anduin Vale, the southern part of it. That's not really a surprise. Let's take a look at the diplomacy here. They are still allied with the Kingdom of Dale, and they're not at war with anybody. I guess that's fine. A lot of times you will see a Dunabar moving up here, but I think they are not able to make that move because we've got the Reunited Kingdom and we've got Rohan doing a pretty good job of keeping them out. And it looks, in fact, like Rohan actually has taken the Brown Lands. It's something I rarely see, actually. Maybe I just don't play the campaigns in which that occurs. But a lot of times in the campaigns I'm playing, Rohan has a hard time and struggles. But yeah, as we can see, Dunabar is definitely on the back foot. They still have Caer Andros, but that is under siege. They still have Emin-Muil, and that is not under siege. Let's see if there's any signs of unrest in the Brownlands. No, and they've got a full garrison here, Rohan does. And Daggerlad, also no unrest, full garrison. Okay, so the Bjornings aren't really going to be doing anything for us necessarily for a while. It would be kind of nice if they would attack Rohan, right, and cause some trouble for the Reunited Kingdom, because I'm a little concerned about how the Reunited Kingdom is doing. They're doing very well at war with the Dunabar, and because we're basically taking out Harad for them, the Reunited Kingdom does not have to suffer from the naval invasions, the blockades that they normally would. Dunland is probably a non-issue for them entirely, since Rohan is not being attacked by a Dunabar, although there's some sieges happening over here. Yeah, this devastated ground. This has got to be Dunland. Oh, that's interesting. Let's move our emissary in this direction, because Dunland could be an interesting factor. They could theoretically sweep down and, take some of this territory from Western Gondor. I would not be opposed to some sort of alliance with them. Of course, they're at war with our ally, right? But maybe that'll change. Maybe at some point that will change. Yeah, war with Reunited Kingdom and Rohan, and maybe we won't be allied with the Dunabar anymore, or maybe we'll at some point drop our alliance with the Reunited Kingdom. The main thing, though, is to watch for this, because this is a big army, right? This is a big army for us to deal with, and it's kind of pointed south, it looks like. So let's get our agent down just to see. I don't see anything else down here, but they've got an emissary at Harmen. So all of these troops I had originally thought to bring down into the south. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I think I'm going to keep them around here, maybe at Harmen, to act as a nice deterrent right up around here. Let's end the year. There's, I think, two ways in which a war might start between us and the Reunited Kingdom. And one, okay, there it is. The other option would be if we took Harlorn, right? I think if we took this, that would be just easy, no question, warfare. This, of course, is the other thing. They just decide to head down south. All right, so here, it's good that we suddenly have all these troops, right? Let's take all of them. We'll leave some skirmishers as a garrison. I don't think they're going to be that much help anyway. And we've got a bunch of them up here. And unfortunately, we can't get our troops to the crossing in time. We can't get these guys anyway. So we may be fighting an old-fashioned field battle against the Reunited Kingdom. Alright, and they've got Umbar under siege with a single unit of swords. Okay. Alright, fine. I guess we'll come back over here, clear them out, and let's put Pin Umbar Fortress under siege. Oh yeah, that's right. This is an all-cav army. Okay, lift the siege. Ah, jeez. Yeah, lift the siege. Next turn we'll move out of here. I don't really care to get involved in these lengthy sieges unless there's a way I can end it quickly. I want this army to kind of be free to move around. But at least we're still building 3 more seasons. If they send out a bigger force, then I'll engage it. I just don't feel like I have the time to fight like one swords unit. But they're probably going to send these guys up here. So, yeah, we need to start moving east. But we'll take these guys out. Let's think about who we want to lead the defense against Valakar of Dol Amroth here. We've got one, I think, relatively old. Yeah, he's seasoned. Gamba of North Harondor. He may die. He's a great governor. Inspired governor, in fact, and the Watcher of the Crossings. So we're going to have to give that title to somebody else. This guy is a poor commander. So I don't think I necessarily want him to be doing the fighting. And our king here, or the prince, yes, the Prince of Harondor, is also seasoned. He's going to be dying soon. And I had hoped that we would have this guy here to take over as governor. So I kind of feel like I can't spare many of these guys. This is our heir, and he's also more of a governor material than a commander. Again, don't be distracted by this. You're going to see like 9 or 10 stars up here, and you're going to think, wow, he's great. No. This is a difference from how the mod works as opposed to the base game. So in the base game, yes, command is command. But in the mod, command on the campaign map is an indicator of military rank, not ability. When you're actually going into a battle on the pre-battle screen, these numbers are going to change, and they're going to reflect what his actual command skill is. This is, again, to give a little bit of uncertainty to the game. You know, the fact that a ruler is not necessarily going to know everything about his underlings. He's going to have some sense of their skill. You're going to know this guy, okay, he's a poor commander. So the fact that he's got high rank is due to the fact that he's the heir to the throne. It's not because he's an awesome commander. So I think we may as well go with just like the guy who's up here. This guy here, Jabari of Central Herodwaith. For one thing, I really want a governor in Harondor more than I think I want a governor in Harmen. So if this guy dies in like the next 2 turns, I think that'll be okay. Let's take this army as close as we can get it and get our secondary commander out of here. And I think everyone else can just stay put. If we really feel like we need the strike cav, we can grab these mercenary Harondor riders. Quite expensive, but they're there. Now this army is a good mix. Oh gosh, so you know it may be kind of rough. We're not losing any money though, so let's grab some more light stuff because, and we can even do that here. Beautiful. That's why I built some of these buildings. Let's go for some swords. That still leaves us a little bit of money. We don't have much in the bank, but that's okay. That is going to change. Okay, yes. I think we need to get on the job of taking out Athen-dad next, and then just cleaning out Harad from the south. We may then need to leave like some tiny forces behind, just to run cav around, so that we can just swat away those little irritating forces. Like that, right? Alright, now what's Reunited Kingdom doing? What are they doing? No? What's next? Nothing. Okay. We are spared at least a turn, but yeah, look at this. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. Alright, we'll get our army right next to the city. And let's see, I can get that cav up there, and I can get that cav up there too. So we'll all meet 1 tile north of Harman. And that gives us, I think, a decent force, although they are bringing more reinforcements down. And we'll also grab the swords out of here. We're going to get a full stack. We're making almost 2,000. Okay, we've got 1 Harondor footman. Let's grab the other. And I guess we can go skirmishers, right? 1, 2, 3. Let's go with that. We don't need the men in the city if we're just going to be fighting them in the field. Now, their force, now that we can get a better look at it, is mostly Kingdom Militia. This is comparable to our own footmen. So let's check the stats. This is a 1 silver chevron unit with 1 gold armor or weapon upgrade. So 9, 3, 23. That's what all these guys are going to have pretty much. 9 attack, 23 defense. Let's take a look at our footmen then and see how that holds up. We've got more experience. So 10, 24. So we're better, actually. We're better. And I think we've got more men. Yeah, they've got 80 men. We've got 110. So thanks to our increased experience, because we're training these guys, a lot of them anyway. Yeah, some of them are 2. But here, we're training them in Harngon. That's our capital. That's already very well built up. Our experience bonus is going to be coming from this building right here, the tribal grants. So we've got some really quality armies, actually. The stuff that you're worried about is going to be the sword units, right? Like the men-at-arms, and then these king's swordsmen. You know, they're archers to a lesser extent because we've got archers of our own, and we've got more. So maybe we can kind of scare them away. They can realize that, okay, there's a big stack right here, right? We don't need to hit this stack. We can just go off and attack Mordor. That's going to be more lucrative anyway if we get into the Nirn region. But very probably Rune has already moved in here. Although I'm not seeing signs of a big siege like you would expect to see around the capital. Maybe there is some. There's a bit of devastation there, actually. So Rune could own all of this, in which case the Reunited Kingdom, being allied with them, is not going to want to break that alliance. So they'll be looking for, you know, another ally to screw over. Let me rephrase that. The Reunited Kingdom, being allied to a computer faction, is not going to want to betray that alliance. But seeing that they're allied to the feckless human player, that's priority number one, right? Obviously. Okay, so they're bringing down more of the same. Their men-at-arms are absolutely the most dangerous unit, but we've got javelins, right? We can get around behind them. We're fast. They don't have cav, so we can just skirmish and be really aggressive with these, you know, barefoot, very light, unshielded skirmish units. So I kind of hope it is a defensive battle and they're going to hit that big stack. Let's see. We could use... Okay, we've got 4 of these guys. That's actually a nice number for a mixed army. You don't want a ton to have to keep track of. And in terms of our line, it's kind of limited. Our line infantry is these 2 Harondor armsmen, 2 footmen, and 1 sword. So it'll be a weird army. So let's get another sword unit, and let's see, 480 for the armsmen. I don't know. Let's grab one of these, Horsemen of the Hardened. We'll grab another one. I think the cavalry charges, the repeated cav charges, are going to be really important for dealing with the Dunedainic armies. Alright, we're moving closer towards Athen-dad. We're probably going to have to put this under siege and wait for a sally or something, or wait for a reinforcing hit. But I'm glad to see this army's stalled out here. They're not moving up towards Akaz-Anabon. So we're going to force their hand a little bit, get down into their territory. And we may have to split off some of our forces to deal with this nonsense right here. But that's definitely doable. Alright, Reunited Kingdom, what are you going to do? Alright, Bjornings want trade. We can't trade with them. It's pretty useless. But they're not allied with the Reunited Kingdom. I'd rather see if we can get an alliance. And let's see. The Bjornings actually can be pretty wealthy. I don't know if these guys are. But let's see if we can get 2,000 for an alliance. Okay, no deal. And we've got our diplomat trying something. The army moves off. Interesting. Very interesting. Where did they go? They, like, disappeared. Okay. This is... I love this. Okay, they're going back north. Awesome. So, I think what we did is we kept our cool. This is Brinksmanship, right? This is very Cold War era stuff. It seems like the AI for Rome Total War is coded with that in mind. It seems that, you know, an AI faction will get right up to your borders, will sometimes come right up to your cities, but if you bring a force over and just stand right next to them, sometimes they will do this. They'll move away. Now, I don't think that's going to last forever, but it does buy us a little bit of time. So we want to show you one useful thing here about the terrain and the defense that you can keep for Harondor. Now, of course, the river here, the Poros River, is one of your major boundaries, I guess, in your initial starting position. So the tendency would be to plop an army right here on the river, right? Because then you get a river battle, you're fighting at a crossing, and that's got some advantages. In this case, I think what you want to do is you want to go 1 tile back from the river, right there. There's a little hill right behind us, and if I'm correct, because I don't think we want to go on the hill itself, I think we want to stay right there. They'll hit us at the crossing. They still have to punch us if they want to get into our territory. And what we'll get is that nice, it's a very nice, very steep hill. Great to defend. So that's my hope, that we're standing at the right spot. And if we do get smacked, we're going to have a very much easier time than it would be in an open field. Meanwhile, we do have some more heavy troops we can send up to this line, and I think, yeah, I do want to do that. We've got 2 guys we can send. Let's bring you. And I'm a little paranoid now. I don't want to leave you out with these emissaries running around. So we'll move the swords up right now because they can get here. And we'll move the skirmishers back because we can have room. And then next turn we'll remember to bring the cav. And then we'll have a stronger position and a couple of extra skirmish units maybe to toss into the south. And so yeah, this is really irritating. I know we could sally out with our general here, but he doesn't have a ton of men. I don't want to lose him. But now we can take Athen-dad, so I think this is our priority. Okay, let's move our rogue out of the way. He's kind of fouling up our marching. We'll go right next to the city. We will hit the army, and they will show up as reinforcements. The army outside, red sand archers, nice target for cav typically. And inside, a nobleman, Mundhir of Upper Herodwaith, with 3 units of swords of Harad, a unit of spears of the serpent, 1 archer of Harad, a red sand archers unit, footmen, skirmishers, and some light cav. This should be pretty nice. And if we can take this, that's not going to end the irritation because we're probably just going to have to suffer with a couple more years of sieges as the forts near Umbar still stand in the hands of the enemy. And they're bringing in these little 1 or 2 size units to irritate us. Okay, take all these guys off skirmish. And let's group up all of our skirmish types so we can keep track of them. Okay, that's everything is pretty good down there. So straight ahead are going to be the red sand archers, and right over to our left, yeah, there's the city right there. So this is where the big reinforcing army is coming from. So I think a lot of the fight is going to be down to our generals, because we don't have the greatest strike cav capability. We've got a few of those units. We've got a few of the lighter cav. Here's our skirmish guys. Let's wait like here. And let's actually take 2 units over towards the archers.
Enemy reinforcements have arrived in battle.
And I'm going to move over to this rocky outcrop here. We'll let them march out. And I'm going to just hold. Maybe I'll get into the trees and see if we can hide so they'll forget that we exist. We'll speed up the time and see what they're going to do. Of course, this is the main event here. We do need to, again, capture all of the units. Both of the commanders, the armies need to get killed. In particular, this family member needs to die. Alright, so they're coming on. We want to make sure they're far enough away from the back of the map so that they can't just route back to the city. Oh, we're getting shot at. Dang. These guys are a nice archer unit. But I think, you know, we push them with our cav and they're gonna route pretty quickly. The reason I'm not doing that now again is because I want to wait for the main army to approach. This is what we have to get. And I'm a little, or I should say, I'm a little more concerned about us failing to get that unit. Alright, they're going to shoot again. Let's pull you out of the woods. You're hidden, so theoretically they shouldn't be able to target you. Yeah, let's run you around actually. Alright, I think it's probably just about time for us to get started here. Let's move you and you around. We're going to try to get them to turn to face this direction so they'll be open to a cav charge. All right, we're getting around them with that cav unit and around them the other side. All right, Harrowwaith Riders, so they're gonna hit and probably capture some of our horses. All right, let's sandwich them so I don't have to worry about that. And what is this? Swords, Spearmen. Okay. Spearmen of the Serpent. Let's see. Alright, that cav unit is going to chase those archers, which is fine. Let's hit the Desert Skirmishers. Okay, this is a little annoying. Hit the footmen, hit the swords. You guys get up here. What was that? What was that? That's their skirmish units. Alright, let's go hit the general, I think. I know it's just skirmishers, but I think we could probably do it. We're going to at least tie him up. We can bust through these units. Okay, yes. Let's go around with our better cav. Right through. What's that? Red Sand Archers are attacking Archers of Harad. Alright, hit the enemy general here. No, no, no. You got to come back. We got to have the general. Alright, we won over there, right? Their cav is off chasing our light guys. Alright, let's come back here. They're good. Also, one of ours. No, no, no. No, we're still good. Okay. Did we get enough of them, though? Okay, yes. Hit the back of these Spearmen of the Serpent. Now, this is a good unit. Harondor Retainers. Okay, there we go. Now, you can only see that for a minute there, but they've got nice swords, too, the Retainers. So they're a spear unit, of course, but they also have swords as a backup. And they are, I just like them. They're like long, straight swords. It's not the typical thing you would associate with the South, like Harad. You'd tend to go scimitars, right? Curved swords. But I like that there's that variety here. They're a slightly different culture, Harondor is, at least how we're imagining them. Okay, so let's speed this up and get, let's get some of our cav over there. Maybe at some point they're gonna give up, but they're probably gonna hit us. All right, let's run. Okay, we can stay ahead of him. Okay, let's what? Where's the other? Oh, they're routing. Oh, okay. So let's continue the battle and rout. That's surprising. I don't know why they just started routing. We didn't engage with them at all. And we haven't been shooting javelins at them for some time. But okay, so that's the end of that. We've got 95% of them killed. So that should get us the settlement here. And that'll be some money. That'll be just a more secure position in the south. Heroic victory, yes, yes. I mean, we did lose a lot of men. I felt like we needed to throw in the light guys after the general, though, just to pin him in place. I was very worried that he was just going to withdraw. Once things start to go badly, you have a family member just pull away or rout, you know. So I wanted to pin him, and fortunately we were able to break the swords so that our own retainers could get around and finish the job. So there we go. And yes, we've got enough movement points to deal with it. There are some more mercenaries. I will have to remember that and get that later. Yeah, why not? Lay desolate, as usual. The population here is really low now, but again, we don't have a lot of men in the area, and no way of training more. Well, actually, is it worth, though, training like one unit of footmen of Harad levies just to schlep him all the way across the desert? It'll take like 5 years. So maybe we'll just hold out. That got us a little bit of cash. We're back close to 8,000. And even with that, I mean, this is only one turn away. That's what makes this so irritating. But even, you know, even with this siege, we're doing okay in terms of cash. So let's just leave behind a few units. The smallest size units we've got. Will this be good? Yeah, it will. And we'll recruit 2 of these mercenaries. I mean, I guess I could leave them behind, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Put you there. And we can take out the cab, actually. And people are happier, and this is not that expensive, honestly. And in Athen-dad, we can get even more money by destroying these mustering fields for 2,000. This is financial. I think that's good. There's ivory here, so eventually we can turn this into a nice trading province. Yeah, they've got the ivory carvers already built. Great. And there's a road camp here. So there's some good infrastructure. We're going to get rid of the homeland dominion and get going on provincial pacification. And move you guys west. We'll deal with Umbar City next turn. And then we may have to come back to defend this shortly, but, you know, that's just kind of the way of things. Okay, we did train some Harondor footmen. What do I want to do with you? I think probably take you south. Because we're going to need some kind of infantry. And I might even do some training of, like, another unit of cav. The skirmish cav to send down as well. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. And let's check out Rohan, because we've got an emissary up here in the Wold. And no surprise, right? Rohan holds this. But there's a Dunlandish emissary there. Okay, Rohan looks pretty strong, actually. Got a lot of low-tier infantry, though. Ah, wow. Okay. They still hold Eastfold. And they still own Edoras. But it's been seeing some action for sure. And there's a full stack of Dunlandings right outside Entwade. They may take this next turn. They don't have any siege stuff, so I guess they can't. But they've got dogs, they've got pikes. This could be a very damaging army to Rohan if they have not been training, you know, good cav. So, what's Harad gonna do? Just blockade a port. And a reunited kingdom. What are you gonna do? More diplomacy threats or something, who knows. Alright. I'll move you down in this direction. And that army has gone actually back here. Once you get the AI to a point where it's kind of like they've lost their supporting cities, you know, they do seem to turtle up. And that has certainly been the case with Harad, although now we're seeing a bit of movement outside of Karasagar. This army is moving to the west. I don't know where the elephants are. Let's take a look at the city first. Oh, gosh. All right, what about you? Can you tell me anything about this stack? No elephants. All right, so they must be in Karasagar. Probably not in Parchereb. There's only one unit there. It's probably the general. And we've got a rogue of the Empire of Harad. Well, hopefully my spy and my my family member, my nobleman here, can deal with him. So he's a 5-eyeball assassin. But we do have muster fields here, so take a look at our recruitment now. We can grab some footmen, and we can now take our choice of skirmish types. Since we've already got 2 of our own, I guess we could go with one of these, but maybe first we want to go with a footman. And then we'll go like that, just to get some variety. But it'll be nice to have some spears in case they you know, bring in their cavalry through the gates if we ever get besieged. Ah, okay. This is interesting. So Harad has decided not to wait anymore. They're not waiting around. They're not going to attack us, or, well, they will at some point, but they're not attacking us yet. First, they're hitting the last of Far Harad, potentially. Which is annoying. Well, there's very little we can do about that at the moment. Let's come back here, get rid of that siege, and hope that this rogue doesn't kill our army. And what do they have here? Yes, family member. This is the heir, actually. Skirmishers and swords. And geez, I wonder if we could get to a position where we can attack this army. And I don't know. The terrain looks a little weird around there. But we're going to be making a lot of cash in a turn, I think. Yeah, both of these should be done, although we're probably going to be under siege up here. But that'll be a nice opportunity for us. And now that we don't need our assassin in that city, I guess we can move him somewhere. Let's just train a scout, as is our usual thing. Move you over here, and you can come right there. And you over here. Yeah, low tier stuff. Only one sword unit. And this is looking pretty small too. Now, if Harad does take this, you know, then we do have to worry about them moving back in through this direction. But until then, you know, I think we're good. Let's go with a skirmisher because this guy may move. Our governor there may end up moving. And here, as we said, we were going to take out a foot skirmisher unit and swap it for this Lancer Cav. So now we've got 2 of these strike Cav, 4 skirmisher Cav, and, you know, a good mix. We've got, like, a couple of footmen, a couple of Harondor armsmen, a couple of swords. I think this is a fantastic mixed army. We've got 1, 2, 3 of the foot skirmishers. I don't like that just because of the numbers. It seems like we should have 4, but, you know, you've got a general that always makes things a bit odd. Okay. All right, where are the armies? They could be south of me. They could be headed back in my direction, but I don't know. If we had good spies, one thing we could do is try to cause some unrest in Amin Arnin and distract the reunited kingdom. We do not have good spies, so we will have to leave that for a bit later. And it looks like Dunland has successfully been driven out of Entwade. Well, we'll once some of these armies move, we can continue moving our emissary into the west and see what he can find out. Oh my. Okay, this is looking good. We made 7,000, so I guess we've got both of our buildings complete. Yes, indeed. And we're slated to make almost 9,000. Ah, beautiful. Look at all this nice trade, too. All these beautiful blue trade routes. Just this nice network, a lattice of income. Great stuff. Now, this is all going to change in a few turns if the reunited kingdom betrays us. But we've got an army up here. So at least if they hit us, they'll have to go through that first before they start taking cities, unless they invade by the sea. All right. Yes, yes, beautiful. Athen-dad, now we can get going on the next level there. Habad only has 1 season for that, and Umbar has 2. This is all happening very fast. All right, we've got a spy from Far Harad here. I think we can just ignore this fellow. And here we go with our fiefdom dominion. 6,000. Hey, we can afford that. And that's going to get us 900 minus the 300 or so from mismanagement. Great. Okay, so you guys, maybe actually, it's more important for you to be eastward. We're kind of short on cav up here. This is going to be kind of spendy too. So maybe next turn we'll get going on hosting halls. And that'll get us really nice stuff. Swords of Harad, the riders. But Far Harad's still holding out. Harad's armies are still moving tentatively to the west. They're not really moving too quickly here. Let's see. Can train anything? No. Well, maybe we should address that. Let's just go for a bit of, you know, looking to the future, some income in In I think I will go with a financial policy eventually as well. Let's see. Yeah, this is looking kind of light. We're going to get another unit in a turn. We're going to get these guys in there. Let's hold. Let's hold off training. But we do have, like, an extra skirmisher. So let's bring him down south, and maybe he can go into the east just to support what we're doing over here. Now with this army, it looks like they're turtling up in the forts. This is not an army I want to be besieging forts because it's really annoying. But we don't have a lot of armies that we can use for that purpose down here. Although, this right here, this is, I mean, we should absolutely use these guys. Yeah, let's get them out of here. And I guess we can take, like, one commander. Like, one who's not very good. This guy. We'll bring him up. And we will meet him up with pretty much everybody here. Let's see, do we want to hit this first? Yeah, it's skirmishers. Let's kill him. This is going to be a little battle, but I think we need to do it. Otherwise, every few turns, we're going to have a little pointless, annoying siege. But then we'll meet him up with the infantry, and then this is the tiny army that we will use to start taking apart forts. Forts always feel like, you know, something I don't want to bother with because, you know, it's a little siege type situation. You either wait a long time because there is like quite a lengthy time for those sieges, or you know, you do an assault, and with an all-cav army, that's difficult. I know we could grab mercenaries just for that purpose, but it doesn't feel that necessary. Okay. 63. I don't think they get to throw any javelins. And let's switch to swords, guys. Let's take a look at those nice long swords. Beautiful. Oh, they do have a bit of an edge to them, don't they? Near the top there, you can see they've got a kind of a curve. So maybe they are like single-edged swords. That's very cool. Okay, the wavering, we are taking a few losses. They're going to be routing pretty soon. Take a look at how our general's doing. Othman of North Harondor. Nice. All right, let's just end it. Or continue, rather, and run them down. But actually, we could probably end it here because that's like, that's it, right? This is just, it's not a family member. We don't need to take out the general. And so that annoyance is removed. But now we can deal with the forts. You know, the thing about them is, you know, once you get the forts, especially down here, they can be really nice for trade. It's just a little bit of income that you don't need to worry about, really. So yeah, we'll go for Umbar Fortress next. And I think this is enough to deal with whatever they're going to throw at us here. Like, there's going to be a couple family members, some archers. I think there's a sword unit loose. But we'll bring them all down. And this army, now we get to go eastward and grab Athen-dad next. So that will be their plan. And yes, I think we've done everything we need to do, although now we can move. We can move over and check out any Dunlanding armies, and now it looks like Rohan's doing pretty well. Guards of the King's House. Nice, strong infantry unit. That may be the one they start with. Oh, but it looks like... Ooh, Westfold has fallen. Ah, but it's going to fall again. It looks like. There's probably a family member in here, a Dunlanding family member, and I don't know who would win. The Chieftain's Guard there is a pretty good unit for Dunland. So let's just stay around here and see where this is going to go in the next turn. Dunland is, of course, capable of throwing together a full stack very quickly. So they could come back. Yep, there they are. And deal with Rohan and relieve that siege. And they have, it looks like. But here we go. They're getting some better units. Shields of the Mark is very respectable infantry. Rittermark Spears is, of course, very nice. Riders of the Mark, classic signature unit. So they've got some stuff. And as for Dunland, it's the usual hodgepodge of tier 1 and 2 with Riders of the Eisenmarch. This is a very nice unit. Medium cav. But yeah, I mean, this army, Dunland makes dangerous armies. Okay, and we got Habad finished off, so we're now up over 20 grand. Very, very nice. And we finished our roads in Akis-Anabon, so that's going to make it easier to move our troops back and forth. We had a little marriage there for one of our guys, and we made 4,500 And we're going to make over 11,000 in the next season. Well, let's take our emissary over here because I'm assuming Dunland still has this. Oh, look at it. Look at these stacks. Very, very nice stuff. Well, I think we have a ready ally in Dunland if we need it. And do they own this? Yeah, they own Old Pukal land. And so, you know, they may be heading down here. They may be taking out the Reunited Kingdom from the west. If they can make good progress against Rohan, they could do very well. Okay, so they've moved some armies out of the forts, it looks like. And so let's try to hit them. I think our own force could definitely deal with this. So we can just move our guys east. Keep an eye out for those skirmish mercs. And we're going to just keep heading towards Adabara. And yeah, I think we can just keep our spies right around here. But you can go right next to the city. And, ooh, just a lot of skirmishers. So they probably only have low-level military training capabilities. Okay, interesting. I assumed this army was coming for Harondor. But as you can see, this province borders both Upper Harondor and Central Harondor. So that means they, you know, they can choose. Just because this is the nearer settlement does not mean the AI is going to prioritize it necessarily. They look at the borders and they see, okay, what is an adjacent province that I can attack? And they're probably also looking at garrison size. So is, of course, much more lightly defended. Okay. Let's see if those guys are going to bribe us. And I think we need... change my mind yet again. I think we need the skirmishers over in the east. Yeah, we'll keep these two together. Move them eastward and... See, I'm not sure we're actually fighting in desert a lot of the time here. I think this is more like grassland. This is definitely desert, so we've got one. That's fine. Let's train one of you just in the event that we're going to have to move everything else out of the city. Because we may. They can get to in 2 turns, and we may have to follow them there to end the siege. So with all of our cash, you know, I don't even need to really look. Let's go train a swordsman unit. And that would be, I think, sufficient to hold off whatever they're going to throw. And yeah, so now we're making 10 grand. Let's spend it. While we have this amazing governor here, what would be the best use of his time? We don't even have roads here. That could be nice. We have roads in the south, and we have roads in the east, but not in the center. Let's see what the income is going to be. So 729 with roads, 770. So about, what is that, 40? We would lose about 120. So it's going to cost us, but I think we can afford it. It'll make things a little more convenient. And yeah, let's leave that there. But actually, Umbar, we should get going on something here. So Umbar gives you a couple of choices, and this is a very, very nice province. You've got timber, you've got iron as well, and you've got horses for trade. But I would go, instead of trying to exploit the income from horses, I would go construction. That's going to allow you to exploit either the iron or the wood. And I think iron, because at the second level of the industry building for iron, I think that comes with armor upgrades. Let's see if I can remember how that works. Does it say here? Okay, so where metal ore can be found and mined, metalsmith workshops can create tools and metal fittings to improve the speed of construction. So that's really nice. I'm not sure if this is going to do anything with armor, actually. I thought it did, but we'll see. We'll get going down that route anyway. And let's just halt everything for the moment. Okay, they did turn around and hit Harondor. That's kind of nice. If they assault, I think we'd do quite well. And I wouldn't mind fighting a siege defense. Those are fun, right? It's the siege assaults that I have such a hard time with because you lose guys. It takes a lot of time. So this doesn't look too bad. They do have 2 swords units, which actually... Okay, but we do as well. And we don't have any archers, but that's okay. We've got an amazing cavalry unit, and we do have a spear unit. And maybe we can bring these guys over to threaten them, right? To sort of get them to assault faster. Let's move over in this direction just a little bit, so maybe so they can hit us, but also give us enough space to withdraw. Okay, yes, and we did make more swords. Let's send them over. And I am, taking a bit of a risk that we could get these units bribed. But I think we can afford to take that risk at the moment. Yes, okay, so what are we making? 11,000. Beautiful stuff. Okay, now we've got a battle here, which they may take. Yes, Lieutenant Mubi is going to take that fight. So, 1 archer unit, 1 skirmisher attention and 1 footman. I think this is going to be a nice little battle. It'll open us up to take that southernmost fort. I think, is it Umbar Fortress? Regardless, we'll grab that and then just sweep back around Umbar and grab the other one. And the forts are nice too. They give you a little bit of building options, not a ton, but it does help with your trade. So it is good to have them. You can get some trade increased as well as some like low tier recruitment. So that's why I'm thinking, honestly, it's got to be faster and cheaper to get military stuff out of forts than it is out of a city, which kind of makes sense. So it works together nicely, I think. All right, let's go for the archers. Let's go around the plainsmen there. Let's hit them with our general. We are throwing into them with our plainsmen, right? Not doing a whole lot of damage, but let's do that. All right, let's throw in our archers against these footmen. There we go. These guys should be routing pretty fast. Wavering. 79. Okay, he's routing great.
These men are perfect. They are running from the battle in terror.
I think we did lose a couple of archers there. Not sure if that was the melee or in the initial archer firing phase. Probably the latter. All right, but I'm pretty sure none of these guys are going to make it back to the fort, which is probably ahead of us to the south here. Yeah, there's the Pillar of Pharazon. The other fort is over there, I think. And Umbar is off in that direction. So a pretty straightforward fight here, and we've got another one of those ahead of us before we really have scrubbed the Umbar region clean of all of our foes. But we're almost there. And then, the thing we might want to give some thought to is shipping. I think we're pretty limited, though. Of course, Harad gets several Corsair ships that are quite good. But just because we are a Haradrian faction does not mean we get the benefit of all of their stuff, right? There's differences between the factions. So, let's see. Yes, making 11,907. So let's get going on control posts. This is just going to give us the basic Footmen of Harad levies. But, it'll give us something to throw at these fort battles, or at least for garrisons. Move this army over here. And next turn, if they've got their force standing right outside there, we can take them. Let's get a spy over there. And in here, okay, they've got some corsairs. They do have swords, archers, kind of a decently mixed force, even some cav outside. So I think that would be a nice battle to have. No rams yet. Oh no, this is the same turn. I get confused when we have these battles happening on the turn and being resolved on our same turn. It is confusing. Oh, interesting. So Far Harad has not fallen. They have kept their settlement of Anorlith, and they still own this one over here. I can just barely see the borderline. They still own their capital right here. Wow, and they're feeling strong enough even to sally out to put some pressure on Karasagar. That is beautiful. Good work, guys. So hopefully they might just deal with the elephants for us. Okay, we still have a lot of money to spend. Let's think about how we could use that. We've got a general up here, and he's a competent governor, but we have not given him a chance to do the best that he could, because I think he's probably not too happy with us. Yeah, discourteous. That's because he's not running his own place. We have not put it on local governance. So we're going to let him do that. I think every other place that has a family member that we want to govern it is set up for that. But he is attuned, though, I think. Yeah, so we could start him on building. Let's see. In terms of income, this is already doing some decent trade. But this doesn't have a policy yet. Let's get going on consultation then, and then we'll sort of decide where we want to go. Probably financial for all of these, honestly. I don't think they all have like wonderful trade resources, but they can still make some good money. This one doesn't typically do that well in terms of cash. 8701. Okay, up here we've got a really good governor here. Let's go with urban province. While we can afford it, it's under 7,000, so that'll let us get to some nice buildings. Okay, so Thorenburg Keep there in the gap of the White Mountains, still held by the Reunited Kingdom, but Dunlin looks like they might be moving on it. Let me just double check Arundel. Ah. Yeah, okay, so that's held by Dunland, but the Reunited Kingdom's up there. So there's a bit of conflict happening around here, but that's to be expected. One I'm not sure of is if anyone owns this rebel settlement right around here. Usually factions are a little slow to get over there, but it's an alternate route around the Thorenburg Keep Pass. So the Reunited Kingdom or Dunland could be using it theoretically. Okay, I mean, Reunited Kingdom seems to be behaving themselves. Not seeing any more of their forces. So that's great. All right, for you, let's keep you down here because I want to see what's going on there and see when Dunland is going to make their move if they do. And let's see, do we do have rams and ladders? So there's going to be an assault. I think we wait for the assault. Let's get all our forces out here together, and then we'll move over. It may not come next turn, but it is going to come at some point, an assault on Harondor. But Harondor has nice stone walls. Harondor has a decent garrison, and I think it can hold out against all of this stuff. So I think that's what we're going to do in the next episode. Harad may be interested in moving some forces west to support, but we are as well. And if they're not going to assault anytime soon, we can always do a sally and have these guys show up as reinforcements. But meantime, next thing on our menu, I think you know what it is, we're going to go for Adabara. That will be resolved, and possibly, let's see if they will fight, just so we're going to know. Yes, indeed. Lieutenant Moaled, and then a few other of his troops in Adabara reinforcing. So it could be the next episode that we find ourselves in possession of everything up to Far Harad. So thank you for joining me for this episode. I hope you'll stick around for the next one. Until then, everybody, take care.